Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to our game number 2 of this best-of-3 series between Team Zenith and LGD China. I'm LD, and I'm joined here by Gods. We're casting on behalf of Beyond the Summit. And you, of course, are watching the G1 League. The website where you can watch the stream and should be watching it is g1.2p.com. But anyway, with all that being said, Gods, currently Zenith, leading the series 1-0 despite losing, I would say, 2.5 lanes last game. Gyro kind of broke even in his. Still able to take the game, able to force LGD into a 1-0 deficit.
Yeah, they got completely outlaned, completely dominated in the early game. It was a 7 to 8k gold deficit, but they came back with some amazing execution, team play. Miracle as the stand-in, you can't really fault him for anything. And despite having a more slow-paced game, maybe because of XY missing, or maybe just because of Zenith's overall strategy, they still played absolutely amazing from behind. And to me, that was the most impressive thing. LGD China are a team who normally when they get ahead just start snowballing under control, but it just did not happen there.
Yeah, they just never got that momentum rolling. And what will they do this game? They start it similarly. They're going to ban out the Tinker this time around. Zenith, the ones to get rid of the Bat Rider, does leave a Nyx Assassin in the pool, as well as the Lone Druid, the Lifestealer. The Lifestealer, I think, got the ban last game as well in the first stage. But this game, both carries slip through. And I like this from Zenith. No matter which one that LGD gets, Zenith can take the other. And I really doubt we're going to see one team getting both.
If Lifestealer doesn't get picked here, Zenith take it. Okay, it's going to get first picked. And Lifestealer, to me, is one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. Zenith get themselves Nyx Assassin and Lone Druid. So I think this is a good trade-off. Nyx Assassin doesn't match up well against Lifestealer because you can raid through Carapace, but Lone Druid having the Entangle is sort of half a way of dealing with him. At least gives you your options.
And even though he's not great against Lifestealer, he's great against almost everyone else in the game, so It's not like it's a bad pick by any means. The one issue is LGD, oftentimes what we see teams do when they're up against a Nyx as Lifestealer is you just go aggressive tri-lane. Nyx is generally not the strongest laning support, and to make matters worse, Lifestealer is incredibly good against him, like you mentioned, because of Rage, as well as just the fact that he has a lot of early killing potential with open wounds. And on top of that, LGD get to select a Keeper of the Light and a Brewmaster here, so they didn't necessarily have the strongest 5-man last game. It was solid because of their farm lead, but they didn't have that big AoE initiator. They had a Clockwork, which didn't really feel like Yao's hero. They'll go for something different here. They'll go for the Brewmaster, and I imagine it'll actually be DDC handling it this time, since he's playing that solo mid role nowadays for them.
Yeah, he is. Well, Sylar handling it last game. Normally you hear that Yao plays, but like you mentioned, Yao more sort of sticking to the offlane. So if it's solo mid, I'd probably be expecting DDC play it. But they, right now, LGD, they take a page from IG's book, which is this Brewmaster as a counter to the Lone Druid. You can Cyclone the Spirit Bear up, you have the Drunken Haze, you have a lot of options for dealing with the Lone Druid Spirit Bear, and also a good hero against Nyx Assassin, because once you're in your ultimate form, Carapace does absolutely nothing. So I think Brewmaster a really good pickup here against this Zenith lineup so far. Zenith, though, they're going to grab the Juggernaut third, generally played by Ice, but maybe not if they're going to be running an offlane Lone Druid.
It's not only a good counter to the Lone Druid, it's a really bad hero to give away to the team that already has him, because when they have Lone Druid and they have Brewmaster, you can't really take a fight against them unless you can burst the Brewmaster down for full HP to none. Once they get onto your tower, if you try and fight, Brewmaster jumps in with his blink, he ults after the clap, and everybody gets zoned off, if not killed off, while the tower's dying. So I think it's not only a good pick for them, but also a necessary denial of a pick to Zenith, who will instead go for another strong combo hero for the Lone Druid in the Juggernaut. Might not seem like a combo, but with Healing Ward nowadays, it really is. And, well, for Zenith, this means they have 2 of their farmers picked up. It could even be a solo mid Nyx. And, in fact, it might be, because Juggernaut Nyx is not really the strongest makings of a tri-lane, but we will see where they go. It looks like a lot of supports will be getting banned out, and wisely at that from LGD, because Zenith maybe has one.
Yeah, and it's your sort of 4-position support. You want that sort of range secondary support. Bane, a great hero against the Lifestealer with the grip. Also good if you can get on the Brewmaster before he pops the ultimate. So all in all, it's a good support, especially when LGD right now don't have any disables to go through, apart from the Brewmaster Primal Split. But if you're gripping him maybe, then he's not getting off in time. And if you're gripping Lifestealer, he's got to cast his ultimate, then cast one of his either Cyclone or Boulder. So it's a good hero to sort of have against this lineup. So smart choice by LGD to ban it out. LGD themselves need another support. We actually see a Silencer ban, something which we've seen once or twice recently in the G1 League. So interesting to see Zenith actually take it out of the pool.
It can be really powerful against Juggernaut. If he's not able to Blade Fury or Omni Slash, he can die really quickly. And a hero like Nyx Assassin, you see him coming with a Sentry, you just calmly pop your ultimate. He's useless. You can be focused down and brought down very early. And it does give LGD a really strong 5-man, but I would be surprised to see LGD go for a hero like that anyway, because they don't have any reliable stuns at this point. They really need something like a Lina or a Leshrac. I think that's the direction more likely we'll see LGD headed, and then they'll need another solo. So something like the Puck, perhaps, for that safe lane. Maybe even the Queen of Pay in this game, although it's not the best game for Queen of Pay once again. Nyx is murder for her. Juggernaut's got a lot of ways to dodge her spells, but they need that strong solo. Probably for their safe lane, a Lifestealer tri-lane with the Keeper of the Light, and then the +1 to go with that. Something like a Lina to follow up the open wounds.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they try and get. And if they actually go offensive tri-lane, because maybe we see Juggernaut in the safe lane just expecting an offensive tri-lane. Juggernaut can spin his way out of the Illuminate, of the open wounds. He's got Healing Ward to somewhat heal off some of the damage from the Illuminate. So maybe it's going to be the offlane Lone Druid, whether it's played by Ice or Miracle, we'll have to wait and see. But it could be a way for Zenith to sort of deal with a potential tri-lane coming out from the Lifestealer Keeper of the Light with one more.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's Zenith. So Ice almost certainly going to be playing the Lone Druid, almost certainly taking it to the offlane, which means if you offensive tri-lane, then he gets a 1v1. And he's already a big enough nuisance as it is when he's up against the tri-lane, let alone if he has actual farming opportunities in the lane. They also don't have a hero to really deal with the Lone Druid 1v1, so that is a great point. You look at Lifestealer Keeper of the Light, you generally think aggressive tri-lane, but if they do that, there will be some trade-offs. So we'll see which way LGD goes. They're also not, well, now definitely not going aggressive, I would say, with this pick.
I was just about to say they don't need to go offensive tri-lane, and if they don't want to do it, they can go Shadow Shaman as a greedy support option, and this is going to fit in so well because Zenith themselves can't punish this sort of greedy support hero. They don't want to go tri-lane against Keeper like Lifestealer, so Shadow Shaman's going to get pretty much some guaranteed bit of farm and levels as well just by using pool camps here. And LGD are going to be going more for that sort of group up at sort of the 10-15 minute mark with the Brewmaster, who hopefully is a Blink Dagger, Shadow Shaman, Serpent Wards. They've got a great 5-man Dota lineup here.
I think if you're Zenith, you just say, okay, we'll be aggressive too, or we'll be a bit greedy too. We'll run that Nyx Assassin as a support here. We'll pick up someone. Yeah. We can either send a Lone Druid to offlane, or he can just go mid and actually does pretty damn well against Brewmaster in a 1v1. A matchup that you can't stop Brewmaster from farming, but you could definitely out-CS him and look to get some denies off, even through the Bottle Crow clap spam. So Zenith, I imagine they'll be greedy, and now this should be a support Nyx, and indeed it will, as they pick up a Mirana.
Hero Orange sort of brought back a couple weeks ago with Mushi playing. Went for a Shadowblade Mirana. Not long after that, Yamete went for a Shadowblade Mirana. So we could be seeing another Shadowblade Mirana here. It's sort of an interesting little item choice, but Mirana has been sort of seen some play from these Southeast Asian teams, and it's a fun little hero. I feel there's just always some better options here, but once you get to your sort of second last and your last pick, sometimes you're sort of forced into having those backup options, and that's what Zenith are going to have with this Mirana.
Oh no. Oh no. Phantom Lancer. Keeper of the Light Phantom Lancer. It seems even Zenith may have forgotten about this or aren't worried about it. Oh no.
I didn't see this coming just because the fact they have the Lifesteal there, but I guess they're going to be looking to run Lifestealer as just a suicide solo.
And if they do that, they defensive tri-lane. Like you said, going aggressive against Keeper of the Light is tough. I think Zenith might do it anyway, though. I mean, because it is a Shadow Shaman PL tri-lane, which sure, there's a Keeper of the Light, but if you don't have vision or anyone gets caught, heroes can just start dying all over the place. We will see, but talk about greed. Panda, not a useful solo mid until he hits level 6. Lifestealer, a decent offlaner, so not really that greedy, but isn't going to win a lane versus a hero like Lone Druid. Will struggle a lot against certain tri-lanes, especially ones that have lots of chain stun, which Zenith certainly do now with the Arrow as well as the Impale. And maybe we even see Zenith throw the Juggernaut into the offlane. Ice has also done that, so I mean, wide open for Zenith how they lane this one. And what would you do in this situation? Do you try and contest?
I don't think it's wise. I think it's possible. The problem is then Lifestealer in a 1v1 matchup will go quite well, and Lifestealer with some early phase boots drums can be a bit of a menace here. So I think you're better off trying to just zone out the Lifestealer completely. I guess they've already got their main carries. And
oh my god, greed galore.
I mean, look at this lineup. You've got 4 heroes who, in theory, are carry heroes. I guess we're seeing a support Juggernaut, maybe from X Freedom. Yeah, support Juggernaut from X Freedom.
So it looks like a Storm and our Lone Druid as our 2 solos, and then a tri-lane Mirana, Juggernaut, Nyx.
And they haven't got XY to play the Storm. He's like their Storm player, but it's going to be a Yamete Storm, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, very
XY is
exciting.
considered like the best Storm in Southeast Asia, but unfortunately for Zenith, he's not here to be playing it.
Well, the best Storm in all of Asia, well, since Dai doesn't play it anymore, it would have to be probably God Kill Them All, and he's not in this game either. But on the side of LGD, we'll introduce the players. We have Long DD, going to be handling that Shadow Shaman with a little sombrero to call his own. DDC on the Brewmaster. We'll have Xiao 8 play the Support Keeper, the Light Yao on the Lifestealer, and then Sylar playing the Phantom Lancer. So, it looks like DDC solo mid Brewmaster, probably that solo Lifestealer that you mentioned in the offlane for Yao, and then a defensive tri-lane PL.
Well, coming out of Zenith, how are they going to look to deal with it? They've got Miracle, the stand-in, playing the Mirana, X-Freedom playing the Juggernaut, Ice, the Malaysian player, playing the support Nyx Assassin, Ice on Lone Druid, and that leaves Yamate for the last pick, Storm Spirit, which I think is an alright pick up here. A fast Orchid can help you gank the PL. Orchid's also a great item against Lifestealers, so it's a decent pick, but both teams, I mean, are just going super, super greedy with farm, with their hero choices, but I think it works out okay.
I was just looking at the draft with that final pick, and what I was thinking was, LGD, this is the greediest draft I've seen in a while. And then you look at Zenith's draft, and you're like, Zenith have actually found a way to be even greedier, which I didn't think was humanly possible. But as greedy as LGD's draft is, they have some proper supports, they have a lot of counter push, they have some team fight. Their laning stage is a bit suspect, but Keeper of the Light really does shore that up and makes up for the other two heroes not being the best in the laning stage. And then their mid game is very solid, very balanced. For Zenith, everybody needs farm. Everybody needs levels to have an impact. Even a hero like Mirana, not very useful until she gets at least her Star Storm max. Ideally, you want Leap max. Arrow, you can leave at level 1, although leaving it at level 1 means it's not a very useful spell later on in terms of giving you that burst to kill heroes off. But yes, Zenith outlasting the greed of LGD this game.
Yeah, Mirana, I think the main problem with this hero is there's sort of two ways to be useful. Either you need a ton of farm and be played as a carry, in which case there's better carry heroes, or you need a ton of early levels so you can have the maxed out Starstorm arrow really fast, because then you can do damage using your spells. But another similar scenario where normally there's better heroes here. So we'll have to see how Zenith look to use this Mirana and who's actually going to be the offlane. It looks like it will be the offlane Lone Druid because Ice is handling it.
Yeah, Ice generally plays the offlane. He at least will get a solo, we know that much for sure. And Zenith, if they don't contest, they're giving away free farm to a PL. They will be able to shut down this Lifestealer to some extent, but I think if you're Zenith, you have a Lone Druid who can handle Lifestealer 1v1, so maybe you want to contest anyway, even though it's risky. And if the trialing goes well, then you could look to win multiple lanes. They'll shoot out an arrow here. It will hit Sylar. Do they have the detection? It looks like it was a 4-second stun. Blade Fury. Impaler here. Might be on first blood. Not quite enough. Sylar's going to get away. And now in the backlines, it's the Nyx who goes down first. Oh, man. That Lifestealer, he hurts. That Phantom Lancer just a bit too hard to kill. And now another Illuminate being spammed. Brings the blow. Won't bring them down. So Zenith, if they wanted to go aggressive tri-lane, they're all at half HP. They've chewed through half of their regen. And they're going to be late to their safe lane. And they gave up first blood. This is a total mess.
That was greedy. They saw the arrow. Their lineup's greedy, their play was greedy. They got the arrow and they're like, oh, we can get this kill. They'd seen at least 3 of the LGD heroes. I don't know if they saw that LGD had 5 bomb, but I'm pretty sure they saw at least 3 heroes.
You gotta know.
They ran into a 5-man Illuminate, a clap, everything was there, and Zenith just with not a good level 1 engagement lineup, apart from the Juggernaut. It's just not really a good level 1 engagement lineup. Yeah,
Juggernaut's amazing at level 1, but he needs the follow-up. He needs here like Lena to throw in a Light Strike Array, a Leshrac for Split Earth, maybe even a Shadow Demon setup stun. And the thing is that arrow hit, but they were so far away. It was just way too far to engage. So when it's all said and done, it'll be an offlane Lifestealer with a Stout Shield against a safe lane Mirana. Mirana actually won't do much against him, although we'll see a defensive trialing. So they'll finally all rotate here. Because I was going to say, Mirana can't really shut a Lifestealer down a lane because her damage is just so poor. Only 46, which is absolutely horrendous for a carry hero on the laning stage.
The 2 supports are rotating in, but they can't keep Yao out of this lane. They're 2 melee support heroes. That's about as greedy as it gets when you've got 2 melee support heroes in Nyx Assassin and Juggernaut, both who need some levels, some farm. And LGD with this solo mid Brewmaster who got first blood, that means he's got bottle up already, and his boots are almost there as well. So
our Juggernaut will just be jungling at least to start, stacking some camps, doing a little bit of farming, and we will see Yamate soloing mid. As the Panda, or it's Panda on Panda action, or at least it would have been in Dota 1. I guess it's just a fat guy with a sombrero now, but it will be Yamate on that Storm versus the Brewmaster mid. I would say a decent matchup for both heroes. Clap is annoying for a hero like Storm who wants to walk in and drop Remnants, but at the same time, Remnants are annoying for a hero like Brewmaster's melee. So wouldn't give a huge edge to either hero in this lane, maybe a slight one to Storm, but really just comes down to individual play. Clap spam, continue to be a nuisance. Both heroes will farm mid. Top lane, they're not going to fully keep Yao down. He's already level 2. But they are running a jungle Juggernaut to somewhat compensate. Ice getting nothing out of the bottom lane. So all things considered, and the PL getting free farm bottom. So all things considered, it seems like relatively even trades for the laning stage.
Yeah, it does, and the big issue is always you've got a PL coddle, and that's just something which Zenith are not going to be looking to shut down in the lane phase. They're trying to get these Spirit Bear pulls off at the bottom lane, but so far, not a whole lot going the way of Ice. He's got half a level at bottom lane, but PL getting free farm is never a good sign, especially when, over on the LGD side, Yao is getting levels. Yao is already level 3.
And what do? If they go in with an Impale Blade Fury, even if they hit the Impale before he's able to rage, doesn't really matter. He still rages, he still doesn't take any of the Blade Fury damage. And melee heroes with no boots, it's not like they can run the Lifestealer down. Yao will probably have his boots before the supports, only 100 gold away. And now bottom lane, Ice, looking to man up a bit here, but a Lance and Illuminate, back will go. Still level 1, still getting nothing. So that's really neuters kind of the weakness of Zenith's lineup, right? Which is one of the big weaknesses, or one of the big strengths of it, rather, which is the Healing Ward plus Lone Druid combo. If Lone Druid has nothing and Juggernaut's jungling, neither hero is going to have the items to really execute that 5-man push.
And I feel that Lifesteal is a hero that can do a lot with minimal farm in a team fight if you've got damage coming from other sources, which you do. You've got a PL, you've got an Illuminate, and you've got a Brewmaster. So I think all Yao needs is some early phase boots, maybe he goes treads even, whatever it is, with the Drum of Endurance, and then his impact is really strong, even if he only gets those items 15-20 minutes in the game.
Sylar, 8, 19, and 4. Uncontested free farm on a Phantom Lancer. Normally a sad tale unless you have a Gyro with a Rapier, and there's none of that this game. No Gyro available for either team, so for the moment we sit back, we farm. Mid lane still quite even, and I imagine this will remain a wash. They do have a Mirana who's having a pretty good start. Miracle sitting already at 17-6, and I gotta say, this is actually, it's pretty hard to last hit on this hero, all things considered, but has the early Reign of Basilius up, a little extra damage. We'll see if he goes for the phase or treads this game, but their mid game will be strong for Zenith. Don't get us wrong. They have a Nyx, they have a Storm who could build that early Orchid. They can find kills, but they will have to find a lot, and they'll have to keep on finding them, like what we saw last game, except I feel it's much more of a ticking clock, whereas last game it was just that LGD had the big lead. This game, LGD are just going to flat out win late game if it goes there.
Yeah, last game, well, it's very similar in the way that LGD once again are winning the laning stage and can come down to Zenith to just outplay them. Last game it was with their teamfight execution. This game is going to be with some amazing individual play. You've got a hero like Storm Spirit, a support Juggernaut, and Mirana. These are much more sort of individually skill-based heroes, so we're going to go see some fantastic sort of manning up coming out, especially from the Storm Spirit of Yamate. He's going to sort of carry this game in some ways, it feels. Yao
should have his boots now, assuming he's gone for them. He has, and yeah, they're just not going to kill him. But what they could look to do is maybe push the lane, and not a whole lot Lifestealer can do to stop that. They have the early healing ward, I imagine, on X Freedom. Indeed, they do. So I think that's an option for Zenith. They may even be able to force a rotation for the Keeper of the Light. But that being said, he's not really needed bottom. So I think LGD would be fine with that. Shao 8 already has the TP up. He's already ready.
Well, not first blood, second blood. Brewmaster pops the ultimate, goes in, dives to Storm Spirit. He hit level 6 before Storm, and with that, he can get a kill with ease.
While that was happening, we saw rotation top for Shao 8, so they're not even going to give up this tower uncontested. I love the fact that Shao 8 had that really early TP. Can't push the tower, one of the things they wanted to do with that jungle Juggernaut. And, well, they give up a first blood. Well, what would have been a first blood, like you mentioned, on the Storm. So it was a Panda ult used, but that's going to slow down our Storm quite a bit. Such a momentum-based hero. Only boots and bottle. We're now 5 minutes in. Really falling behind.
And this DDC's Panda and Brewmaster has 1,400 gold now. And he got the first blood. He gets second blood as well. He's farming decently against Storm Spirit. He's going to have an incredibly fast Blink Dagger. Maybe swaps by, gets some Arcane Boots. But the fact he's Bottle Crowing means he doesn't need the mana as much. So we could just see a straight Blink Dagger on him.
And Sylar's still free farming bottom. So even though they've rotated Shao 8 top, even though DDC is a melee hero mid, he's dominating that matchup. He got the first blood. They're getting free farm on their PL. The Lifestealer is getting levels top. He's already level 5 at 6 minutes in. Pretty much uncontested levels. DDC is 7, but that's with the solo kill. So without that, he'd be just level 6 or so. Yao is barely behind at all. And Zenith, it's really going to be the level 6 Nyx moving around the map and getting active, because the push isn't going to happen. When your Lone Druid doesn't have levels, they're not pushing it to keep with the light, even with the healing ward. So the Juggernaut Lone Druid combo isn't going to be there. It's got to be the Nyx Storm combo that pulls Zenith back into this game.
Yeah, it really does. Zenith just had the worst possible start. So much even goes back to that first blood, because that first blood allowed Brewmaster to hit level 6 before the Storm Spirit. It gave him that boost in XP, and as a result, he hits level 6 before Storm does, and then he gets another kill. So this is LGD China, just their ability to sort of snowball out of control from the smallest little thing. A misplay by Zenith at level 1, now it's 2 kills, now we've got Brewmaster almost with a Blink Dagger, and LGD China, they can rotate Keeper Light top, help defend these towers, and it's a similar story. They're winning 2.5 lanes again, it feels, here.
Ice is level 2. Compared to the level 6 of our Lifestealer that's coming soon, he's already
God.
5. It's just ridiculous.
This is another huge laning advantage going the way of LG China. Even mid lane, you've got Brewmaster level 8 to the level 6 Storm Spirit, and the 2 supports of LGD, Shadow Shaman, he's also level 5, so he's going to be looking at a very fast level 6, and that's when we look to start seeing towers drop.
Yeah, Zenith, they have the lineup with the Healing Ward and the Lone Druid Bear where you think maybe they look to push, but it's really LGD who have the better overall pushing composition. Even though they have a Phantom Lancer who generally won't join the pushes early, he pushes one lane, your other 4 heroes push the other, and Zenith are caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they react to this. They have got a Mirana as their sort of farming hero, which isn't sort of the best comeback hero as well, but the key thing to me for Zenith is going to be the supports as well as Storm Spirit. They can start getting ganking, start getting active, and the supports needed levels first, which they've now got. We see level 4 on Juggernaut, level 5 on Nyx Assassin, so they can start getting more active, and Zenith can start looking for some either good team fights or some good smoke ganks using these higher level supports.
Yeah, for Zenith there will be that window where the Phantom Lancer, yes, he's ahead in CS, but not overwhelmingly so. His farm will accelerate dramatically once he gets that next big item, be it the Yasha, even the Diffusal Blade, but the Yasha the best item if you just want to farm as quickly as possible. Once he has that, then the clock will be ticking, and it will be ticking quickly. But up to this point, Mirana has kept the pace. Nyx Assassin close to level 6. Juggernaut only 4. X-Freedom is a bit behind. If they find openings during that window, like say, let's start at, let's say the 10-minute mark until maybe the 25-minute mark, but probably even more like, I don't know, 12 to 22 minutes or so. If they can find a lot of kills during that time, get some towers down, Zenith will be in good shape. But if they don't, it's going to be almost impossible for them to come back, because they have so many momentum-based heroes on this team. Mirana, Nyx, Storm, these are all heroes that don't scale that well with items. They scale decently, but they're all about get your early levels, get your basic items, and then go kill, and keep on killing.
Yeah, and once they get those early levels and basic items, I feel they can. For Zenith, maybe that's going to be the time when they look to turn things around. But LGD China just have such a strong start. We've got DDC with enough gold for his Blink Dagger. He hasn't bought it just yet, but you can only imagine that's what he's buying right now.
And he's got his ult back up. So yeah. Who do you go on? I mean, you have to go on DDC almost and kill him before he can even use his ult. If you go on anyone else, he TPs in with the Blink. He turns the fight around. And
to me, the question for DDC with this Blink Dagger up, he can start looking to get active. Maybe he go. I almost think he goes bottom. He gets a kill on Ice Ice, not because they need to gank Ice Ice, but because that's a lane when they kill him, they can push down at least 1 tower, maybe even 2 towers. And that'll get Sylar a ton of gold, start getting him closer and closer to that Diffusal Blade, and then we look at LGD China starting to get really out of control.
It's also the easier lane to kill, because top lane you do have a Blade Fury Juggernaut, you have a Mirana who can leap away, you have a Nyx who's got Carapace. At the end of the day, even though it's a tri-lane with some somewhat under-leveled heroes, well, not really that under-leveled, all things considered, but, you know, not getting solo farm anyway, it's actually the harder lane to kill. And if they do that, then the Lifestealer gets a lot of levels in farm when Zenith rotate to defend bottom. So I'm kind of agree with you. I think that would be the way to go.
Yeah, but with a Blink Dagger up, if he is going for the first time Blink, you almost have to go for that rotation. Unless we see a rotation coming mid, maybe Shadow Shaman looks for a smoke gank on Yamate, but without a hero like Shadow Shaman ganking, you're not going to be killing off this Storm Spirit.
Yeah, continuing to just find levels and farm top lane. Already level 6, and Zenith continuing to try to push this lane. They had 3 heroes, keep on arriving to the lane, then they see an Illuminate, they leave. I mean, maybe just hoping that Xiao8 has forgotten that he needs to defend this lane, but unfortunately Xiao8 is like an elephant and is not forgetting ever. So they'll get a regen rune bottom for DDC. The Blink is available. Just need a TP scroll on him. That's the big thing. And Zenith are going to smoke.
Well, I'd be interesting to see what they try and do with this. If they can kill Brewmaster, it's great, but I don't think they have enough lockdown. Impale level 3 with a Storm Spirit pull, I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Either wrapping around to go mid, or maybe even heading all the way towards bottom. They do have that zip into initiation, but here comes Xiao8. And they'll head towards bottom, but they may be revealed on the high ground by Long DD. He'll go for a secondary pull here. They need to get that Impale and then get in range for a... They'll actually initiate with Mirana Ultimate, but unfortunately they get revealed for a second. Going up the cliff doesn't matter. There's your Impale. Now the Mana Burn. They'll get the kill on Long DD. They do find an opening, but look at Ice Ice Ice. Just one lance. He's almost dead. And Sylar's on the hunt. Sylar wants this kill. The Mirana ult will wear off. He's got a lance. He's got the distance. He gets the kill. And that, a smoke gank to kill a support. And you give a kill to the PL and you lose your Lone Druid. Turns out to be a horrendous trade for Zenith in the end.
You can see how hard of a position that Zenith they're in. They had to go bottom. They couldn't go on Brewmaster. Brewmaster was too tanky. He's sitting on like 1k HP at mid lane. And Storm Spirit with a level 2 pull, as well as having a level 3 Impale, isn't enough to disable. Brewmaster can just clap an ulti and fight his way out of there or just run away. And with that rotation, it's a bad trade for them nonetheless. And then Yao at top lane, he's outlaning Miracle in a one-on-one matchup, despite Miracle having sort of the free farm and the easy lane.
Yeah, it's what I talked about. It's just not a matchup that, even now with the phase boots for Innovikilla, it gets a bit easier, but at the end of the day, Lifestealer just, he's so resistant to that ranged harassment. Mirana's base damage really hurting her. If this is a hero like a Queen of Pain, you could do a lot more. Sure, he's got rage, but once that wears off, you Shadow Strike him, and he's just going to be driven back to the tower. A hero like Mirana can't really punish this Lifestealer for being in the lane by himself. Yao, phase boots, really, at this point in the game, if it's a good tri lane for dealing with him, he might be level 3, like what we've seen out of Ice Ice Ice, level 4, but in this case, just basically free farm.
Yeah, the problem was they had Nyx Assassin who was just pulling, then they had Juggernaut who was jungling, so it was just absolutely no way preventing him from getting those levels, and we'll see LGD using this to punish Zenith once again in the mid game, unless Zenith can come up with something miraculous. They did last game, but I think last game was different circumstances to what we're seeing here. Yeah,
and last game, LGD had a strong mid-game lineup. They had decent late game if Sylar got huge on his lone druid, but it's not like they had the obviously superior late game. Zenith, even with multiple carries, none of these carries are out-farming a PL who's ahead, or out-carrying him. It's sure, if they're all farmed and he's even with them or behind, they can, but they're not all farmed right now. We're looking at a Juggernaut with 1,700 net worth, a decent farm, I would say, on the other 3 heroes, but the Nyx 600 net worth, a 5-position Nyx, a hero that needs items and levels. He's getting decent levels, not great. He's still not level 6, and of course that gank delayed his level 6 as well. Just another downside to what they went for there.
Yeah, we may even see a fast gem on the LGD side just to help deal with this level 6 Nyx Assassin, because if the supports play safe enough, they can quite likely hold on to it. Even Brewmaster could pick up the gem. If they're going to be 5-man pushing, you want to have a gem or at least sentry wards, and I imagine they soon look to do so. They've got level 9 Brewmaster, they've got Keeper of the Light level 6, and then Shadow Shaman, he's got his Serpent Wards as well coming into play. But right now, the defensive top lane is their main priority.
They will be working on the tower here. Miracle, oh, there's a Hex to start on X Freedom. Healing Ward is still here. Now comes the Open Wounds as well as the Rage. No Carapace yet, but Ice has his ultimate. Might be able to skate out of here. The initiation just a little bit long for LGD. Can't quite find the open yet. Stretch Armstrong Shackles, not going to amount to too much. LGD will back off, but hey, they didn't really spend too much there. No big ultimates or anything like that, and Zenith, they have that level 6 on Ice. Can they find an opening now?
Yeah, I actually thought Brewmaster was going to TP top. I'm not sure if that's what LGD were hoping for there, because they engaged with the Hex to lead things off, and then they had follow-up coming from an opened wound. But without Brewmaster TPing in, they were never going to get any kills there. But DDC or LGD decide that's not what they want, and oh, bottom lane, a race for the rune. DDC wins it.
Yamate, he does have a zip away, but it's not much mana left on him. DDC's gonna have his Blink coin down soon. He'll come in now with a clap, a lance, and it's not quite enough. Yamate just barely able to escape. Meanwhile, X-Freedom driven off of that middle lane, and DDC still has his ult up. I kind of like the fact he didn't come because they didn't really spend a whole lot top, and now with his ult still online, they can use that ult for a more important objective. Not finding hero kills, but pushing towers. They won't waste the wards on anything like that, so I think this is the better way to play it.
Yeah, they're going to get a tier 1 mid tower, and that also came from Storm. They didn't kill Storm Spirit, but they forced him back to Fountain. He had to heal up, and during that time, they got themselves in a position where they can at least get this tower low. It's going to go down one way or another. It's just a question of whether or not Zenith can get the deny in.
Not going to get, not going to happen against all those wards, those auto attacks. Look at the confidence of this Brewmaster. Certain lineups have the burst damage. Like, say if you have a Magnus on the side of Zenith, that hero alone provides like 800 nuke damage before reduction. And with any kind of follow-up, you can kill the Brewmaster, even with 1200 HP. But Zenith, unless they hit the arrow of Miracle's life, they're just not going to find the kill. Continues to farm top lane. And not that I'm saying he should be doing something differently, but this isn't why you pick the Mirana.
Yeah, it seems to be here that needs to get more aggressive and more involved, especially when you've got Sylar, who... Is he going Radiance? He's got 3.6k gold. If you're saving that much, it's Radiance normally. He could just pick up the Diffusal now, but it looks like we're going to be seeing a Radiance PL.
Well, I said Yasha's the best farming item. That's because Radiance is generally not an item you pick up. Wasn't really even on my mind. It's such a long time since we've seen the Radiance build, but... At the end of the day, the Radiance is even faster than the Yasha, at least up to a certain point. The thing is, it does leave you a bit squishy. It doesn't build into any bigger items, and later on, won't be that useful against Zenith. But hey, if there's no pressure on you, why not be as greedy as possible? Hell, he could have gone Midas this game, and I don't think Zenith could have punished it. But yeah, Radiance coming out soon. You'll disconnect, so I'll keep on rolling while you get back in the game, Dave. But we'll have Sylar continue to farm bottom lane. Ice finally hits level 6, but top lane, it's going to be the initiation from Long DD. Nope. Has the dust. We'll pop it now just so you can see Ice. He'll actually blink in. There's your clap to fly, but the Juggernaut ultimate, the Blade Fury from X Freedom. finds an individual kill in Long DD, brings him down. No use of any additional disables in this fight. Now a root on the Yao. Off the bat, the rotation from Ice Ice Ice. Mirana ultimate deployed as well, just to keep everyone alive. So they actually bait out the Brewmaster ult, and LGD don't really get much off of that. Now they gotta run. They Cyclone the bear. Miracle looking for an arrow. It won't hit at the right moment. He wanted to hit that arrow the second the Panda reformed, went back from his 3 Panda aspects into the big Panda. Doesn't find it. Not the best fight for LGD, but they force TP off the bottom lane. Sylar continuing to free farm, and I think it is his relic. Indeed it is. It's coming now. So Radiant's PL, a fearsome, fearsome farming machine. Not like the other versions of PL are not, but it's coming now. And we'll see the middle lane. Yamate just continue to push this lane in a bit. Is rushing the Orchid, but a blink and a clap gonna drive him off the tower. And Zenith, despite having Healy Ward as well as Lone Druid, just not able to find any sort of towers. So taking a quick look at the gold graph, since we've had a rather sort of relaxed laning stage up to this point, only 5 kills in 15 minutes. Looking at a 3k gold lead now for LGD China, about a 4k experience lead, and, well, bottom tower's in deny range. Will Sylar come to steal this one? He's going to try to. Gone for a lot of early points and stats. And can he get it? Can he get it? He can't with this illusion. He wanted to micro the illusion. He had selected it and clicked on the tower, but the Impale catching both Sylar's hero as well as the illusion. A great play by Ice. A small play, but a great play. Hey, gotta slow down that Radiance timing. You'll take anything you could get with the tower. Sylar pretty much would have had the Radiance, so now it's delayed by 2 minutes. I call it a small play. It's actually a fairly significant one. It gives Yamate a little bit of time to actually farm up his Orchid. We will have some lag in the game and a bit of a pause here from the players. I'll check the pings quickly. Gods, you back in yet? Nope. It looks like his laptop may have fully crashed or something like that, guys, but I'm sure he'll call me back as soon as he is able to. Call me back when you're in the game. Fantastic. So Gods knows that he should call me, although he should anyway, assuming he's not slacking. Yamate should have Oblivion Staff number 1 on the way right now, but still has to farm another Oblivion Staff as well as the Orchid Recipe. By the time he gets that, our Phantom Lancer should have probably a Yasha complete. Be well on his way to a Manta or the Diffusal. We'll see what he wants to go. Even just something like a Vitality Booster or a Drums could be a nice choice after the Radiance. Sure, you don't... The HP isn't going to help you farm faster, but you just want to live once that Storm has an Orchid. Don't want to give them any easy way to kill you. And once you have the Diffusal, you can always purge the dust off yourself. So we'll see what they get for Yao. Just working on this bear working on the tower. Everybody having a little fun top lane. Strategically, I still say this favors LGD, but there will come a point where they do want to take some fights, just abuse the fact that their Phantom Lancer has a huge item advantage. Try and go before the Storm. Orchid is up. Looks like they want to do that now. DDC rotating towards the top lane, about 45 seconds until his ultimate cools down. By the time he gets there, it should be about 20 or so. And still 4 heroes top. Zenith looking for the tower here. I imagine we'll be backing off. Healing Ward being used with that bear, just to keep it at full HP. And now working on the tower, bringing it down quickly. A zap number 1. Will they hex the bear? A blink, a clap, the glyph as well. They want to bring this bear down. It's actually hexed, or shackled onto the tower, I should say, after the hex. LGD will get the tower denied. But I think Zenith is okay with that in the end. They're getting some farm mid. Yamate getting closer to his Orchid. Considering their position, Zenith have to be happy with any kind of trades, any sort of chip damage or small things they can do to basically slow LGD down, because the Phantom Lancer army is growing. He's got the Radiance up. We could see his support stacking the camps. The one really nice thing about Radiance is it makes your jungling ridiculous, because as Phantom Lancer, well, as any hero with Radiance, you could basically just walk, especially on the Radiance side, you could just walk through this corridor right here and aggro all 3 camps, killing them simultaneously with Radiance Burn. Actually, no camps for him to farm, so you won't see it yet, but keep an eye on Sylar. Plus, you can micro your illusions, and not only can you do that with the normal Pale illusions, but every illusion gets the Radiance Burn effect. So it just lets you farm these camps incredibly quickly, even with only a handful of illusions. You don't need the full army. And he has gone for that single point in stats. Nothing more since then, though. We'll see if he goes back for some at any point. Maxing Doppelwalk later on is really useful, though. The cooldown gets cut. I believe it's in half. Let's see exactly. Yeah, from 30 to 15 seconds. So it's a big upgrade for the cooldown. And Zenith, I somehow feel like they're okay with this. Even though you would think for their lineup that they shouldn't really be that happy. LGD have had a big advantage, right? They had a Blink Dagger on the Panda. They got an early level 6 on their Shadow Shaman. What have they actually accomplished off of that? They've gotten 2 tier 1s. You would think if they executed it well, they could easily have all of the tier 1s and maybe a tier 2 at this point, but Zenith have just not given up too many kills. LGD will smoke now, head towards the bottom lane. Mech is online for Xiaowei. That's another big team fight item up. TP in, comes from Ice Ice Ice. Oh, he thought it was safe, and he was wrong. The wards drop just in range of the tower to boot. They will get the tower here. Will there be a buyback from Ice Ice Ice? No money for a buyback. The Mirana ult was used, but just no way to fight this. I'm not even sure why Zenith is thinking about it. There's a sentry ward here. You have to know that LGD will come prepared. They always do. I don't think we'll actually see them go in. Maybe they'll try and go for a tower tonight. Not even that. Hoping to catch out. Oh, this is what they're waiting for. The heroes that are TPing out. They want to catch them. DDC being recalled. Needs to take some damage now. He'll eat an impale. He has his ultimate if he needs it. And Sylar's here. Oh, this could be bad for Zenith. Underestimating that Phantom Lancer. He can come back to haunt you. They'll get a kill. The backstep fails from Zenith. But they get the trade. They get the tier 1 mid. And now Yao will TP top. Look to do a little farming of his own. Miracle should have his Shadow Blade coming soon. Is he really 1,000 gold away? No, he's got it. I was going to say, he seems more farmed than that. Yamate, Orchid up as well. This is your window for Zenith. It's starting later than what you would expect because of the slow start, but now that they have the Orchid and the Shadow Blade, it's time to make kills happen. Sylar, he's gone greedy. He's gone for the Radiance, so his ability to actually fight this game, his ability to tank is going to be somewhat reduced. Sure, he's got that 1 point in stats, but it's not really that much additional HP at this point in the game. And I see Gods is reconnected. I will try giving him a call right now. Hopefully he's back in. For anybody on Dota TV, you may not hear Gods even if he's talking in game now. If you don't hear Gods, just switch audio channels. Switch to Vlad, switch off of our channel, then go back into it inside of Dota TV. That should fix him if you don't hear him. And if all else fails, reconnect to the Dota TV server. Just a bit of a Dota TV glitch where if someone disconnects or reconnects as a broadcaster, some viewers can't actually hear them in some cases. So anyway, with that being said, Gods, well, it's been a bit of a farm fest, but Zenith, they've got those core items up now. The Orchid, as well as the Shadow Blade.
And the question is, can they do anything with this? Because right now, Miracle hasn't been involved in any action whatsoever, but he's got a lot of farm, not quite PL level farm, but I feel Zenith, they have to strike soon. Yeah,
and they're going to now. I like this. Shadow Blade comes in, they'll deploy an Observer Ward here. Oh no, the auto attack on the Courier is actually going to reveal that. The tower was dead anyway, though, so it looks like they weren't going to engage, and I guess they didn't have Glyph there. Yeah, no Glyph, so they'll try and defend the tier 2. Gonna be tough. I don't even know if Zenith can take fights.
Drop the Serpent Wards. I don't even know if they need to drop the Serpent Wards, but I think LGD's 5-man is just too strong. It's like you say, Zenith just can't take fights. And is there a gem up? Yeah, gem up on Brewmaster means Nyx Assassin can't initiate with Vendetta, and with that, it's just too difficult.
Clap to start. Now, Ice dropping quickly, and that Rage Lifestealer, if needed, can easily bring him down, but no Rage needed. Tower will fall, and they didn't use wards. LGD, they were planning to go for the tier 3. They're going to force it. At least the TP's back will have to come. Yamate's got this Orchid so they can delay that Panda ult, but the issue is that I don't think they can burst him down during that time. Wards deployed. LGD want to end this game quickly and firmly. They want to force this to a game 3. The ward's being sniped off one by Yamate, but he's got to be careful. If he eats a Hex and a Shackle, he could die. He'll drop low. He'll die to the Illuminate, overestimating his own survivability. Oh, shall we? You wizard, you. Now they'll catch Miracle. One by one, Zenith just jumping in, getting picked off. Your 2-hero impale doesn't feel like enough, but a buyback, and now a TP and a zip in. Yamate dying quickly. One boulder toss, dies again, and that's Rex. That might even be 2 lanes of Rex. Sure, they don't have wards. Well, no, the tier 2 mid is still up, but easily a Roche. Zenith, they know. There's just no coming back. What a... All of a sudden, the game just deflated like a balloon, and LGD, they forced the game 3.
So, a 22-minute PL game.
And a Radiance PL game. Like, the greediest build besides getting a Midas first.
If you tell any pro player that a game lasted 22 minutes and there's a PL, they would say, oh, it's because the PL team lost. They got pushed down too fast. But this is a PL team getting racks and winning the game in 22 minutes.
And it's not like the rest of the team was particularly early game centric. Lifestealer's decent in early game clashes, but he likes to farm. He likes to get some levels. Same for the Panda, and certainly the same for a support Shadow Shaman. LGD just thoroughly out-executing Zenith in this game 2. They will be forcing to game 3. I feel like we haven't gotten that great game yet, though, Gods. I feel like game 3, these players owe us a spectacular show. I want 80 minutes. I want epic buybacks. Can they deliver? We'll find out coming up next. Guys, stay tuned. G1 League action continues after this. But for now, it will be LGD forcing that game 3. The winner of this match, they go directly into the next round. These are your second-place teams from Group A and Group B. So the winner of this heads to the LAN finals, heads to China. Well, in the case of LGD, goes to a different location in China for those LAN finals. In Zenith's case, they get the trip over. But who can do it? We'll find out right after this. I'm LD, he's God. Stay tuned. More G1 League action coming up next.